I have focus and square and circle. Okay, so I went for a run today and I'm a little fucking lit off that run. I'm going to try to channel some of that energy, those endorphins that I got from running, into doing a video that is relatively engaging. You know, I'm really bad about that. I apologize. But this one's gonna be, it's gonna be good. The news. What's the good fucking word? What's up within? What's up? What's up? Things are, you know, they're chill. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, and I ate like a handful of macaroni and a slice of pie. That was like a fucking gluttonous feast for me. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video that I've decided to do. As you know, I've been in the process of getting a psychological evaluation done. So the report is just several pages of information about me. It kind of goes over my life in general. I guess it's used for other healthcare professionals to look at and be like, okay, this is the course of action that we're going to take. These are the recommendations. This is the diagnosis. And this is their entire fucking life here, just on this page. It refers to me as they and she throughout because, you know, whatever. I just wanted to preface this with, I don't know. When you meet someone who has a mental illness, who has a diagnosed mental illness, oftentimes they will rattle off a long ass list of things that are wrong with them. And a lot of people will see that and be like, they're a fucking hypochondriac. What the fuck is wrong with them? And that's not always the case. Oftentimes when you get a psychological evaluation done, they want to cover all the bases. And so when you have, you know, this list of symptoms, they might overcompensate. There might be some overlap between disorders, but it's better to overcompensate than to undercompensate and miss something that you could be treating. And so that is why oftentimes when you do a psychological evaluation, there's more than one diagnosis. And if you have just one, it's probably not that good of an evaluation because there's a lot of comorbidity with psychological issues. So let's get into the diagnoses. Yeah. So we'll start with the obvious. Number 1, gender dysphoria. Bet you knew that one. Number 2, EDNOS, eating disorder, not otherwise specified. Absolutely yes. Number 3, PTSD. Fairly obvious that I have PTSD. I don't have it like a lot of people do, like I guess how it's conventionally portrayed in the media, where like people are waking up screaming in the middle of the night. That's not my fucking jam. I'm so fucking detached from my experiences that I don't have flashbacks. I don't have nightmares. I don't really even think about the shit. It just kind of affects the way that I interact with people because I don't enjoy trauma, and so I try to avoid it. And that affects how I think of people. And then the last one, the big one, the one that you all have been waiting for. Can I get a drum roll, please? Psychotic depression. It's fairly obvious from a lot of my videos that I have depression. I have fucking crippling depression. And it's also obvious from what I've told you, at least, that I experience psychosis. So those two things together absolutely make sense. But it's the the severity, the implication of the diagnosis itself, because oftentimes when people are diagnosed with this, they're like immediately put into residential. It's often thought if someone has psychotic depression that they really need immediate help. They need to be hospitalized post haste. And I really, to be honest, I don't feel that way. I disagree. I am not well. I know that. I'm aware that I am not well, but I don't think I am so bad off that I need to be institutionalized, to be honest. And the psychologist that I spoke to that did the evaluation, she was pretty concerned. There was a lot of fucking concern, let me tell you, about my mental state and the environment in which I inhabit. It is I don't know, it was a major source of concern for her that I get out of the environment that I'm in and get some real help for my trauma. And I just processing that shit is just not super high on the priorities list. And so I'm cooling, I guess, until, you know, something really fucking bad happens and I fucking kill myself. So I spoke to her a couple days ago about the report because there were some things that I wanted to get out there and understand. One of which was the rule outs. I find that it's very important to understand why things have been ruled out, because those are things that were potentially diagnoses that could have been used, but were ruled out because there was a symptom that wasn't there or it didn't line up completely, stuff like that. And I find that it's really important to know that, because later on you might see a doctor that thinks you have that thing that was ruled out, and you need to know why it was ruled out. So remember the sex therapist thought I had DID, and I was like, bitch, no I do not. No, it is impossible. It is not. No, I don't have DID. And I mean, do you know how fucking like rare that shit is? I don't have it. So I asked the psychologist, what rules out DID? Even though that wasn't on the sheet, I want to know what rules out DID so I know for the future. I just need to know. And so she said, I don't have a whole lot of lost time. And I don't have a whole lot of lost time. I've lost time maybe once or twice ever in my life. I just didn't present a lot of the symptoms where, you know, a lot of people that have DID will run into people that say they know them, will have clothes on that they don't remember putting on, will have things that they don't remember buying. They'll often, you know, they'll switch their personality states. I don't switch my personality state. I just fucking leave the premises. I'm just fucking gone. So that would be the rule out for DID. It's just, I don't have enough of the symptoms. And honestly, I don't even know why I was brought up in the first place. The other disorder that was ruled out was schizoaffective disorder. And the reason why it was ruled out is because it can often like kind of masquerade as bipolar, psychotic depression. It can kind of be confused for those things. Schizophrenia. But the reason for me why it was ruled out is because I am depressed all the time. Like, all the motherfucking time. It just never ends. It's just a fucking world of pain. And when you're talking about schizoaffective disorder, people with schizoaffective disorder oftentimes will have psychosis, psychotic symptoms without the presence of depression or mania. And so that's a thing that's been ruled out because I am depressed 24/7. All the time. Like, to be honest, if I winked out of existence like right now, right this fucking moment, I would be perfectly content with that shit. That would be fucking lit. That would be lit. I'm starting to lose steam, guys. Starting to lose steam. Oh, another interesting tidbit of information is when she spoke to me, she said that my affect was very blunt. I had a flat affect. And that is common. It's common for me. I try to be honest. I try to be myself in those situations when I'm, you know, seeing a psychologist, when I'm seeing a therapist, when I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I try to be as much myself as I possibly can be, and that's what I am. When I was recounting things that were potentially traumatic, when I was recounting things that people would normally cry about, it was like I was telling a story. Like, you know, it just had nothing to do with me. I was telling a story in the third person, or from the third person. That was something that she observed, and she actually had a good bit of wisdom about. And her little nugget of wisdom was that I should have a safe word or a not safe word for when I am losing my goddamn mind, because oftentimes when a person has blunt affect, it's hard for other people to discern how they feel. Oftentimes when someone is depressed, it is obvious that they are depressed. And for me, it's not always obvious. I mean, I'm depressed all the time, but sometimes it gets real fucking bad to the point where, like, not only do I, like, vacate the premises, but, like, I start to have, like, panic attacks. Yeah, it does get real bad, and it's hard to know that that's going on with me. I kind of assume that a lot of the people in my life are inattentive, and while I still think they're fairly inattentive, maybe it's because, in part, I am so fucking blank most of the time that it is hard to know what's going on. But yeah, that was, I guess the crux of the information. Do you guys have any questions about mental illness, about the process, about my experience? Feel free to ask. I have no idea like what things are interesting and what things aren't. So yeah, feel free to ask. I think I'll end it here though. So deuces.